Welcome back to the shit show. Grab a seat and watch as we discuss the erosion of democracy, the destruction of mainstream news, and massive tech companies preying on children. Then stick around as I force Elliot to read a bunch of words that have been added to the dictionary.
God damn it.
First up, though, we missed this story last week amidst the other stories about chatbot-induced psychosis, but this one is far more sinister than making a grown-ass man believe that he is Tony Stark, because according to internal documents recently acquired by Reuters, Mark Zuckerberg's Meta is surprisingly casual when it comes to the relationships that it allows between its chatbots and literal children, leading to conversations that are sometimes, quote, sensual in nature. Alongside all the standard chatbot garbage that we've come to know, like bad medical information, blatant racism, and divisive political takes. And Meta platforms preying on kids' vulnerabilities is nothing new, especially for apps like Instagram, which has previously been accused of heavily contributing to a mental health crisis, specifically for teenagers.
I mean, even Meta's AI being inappropriate with kids isn't new. I feel like it was like 4 or 5 months ago, the Wall Street Journal, I believe, they're like, yeah, you can sext with John Cena if you want.
Yeah.
It's real hot and heavy with you. No, it doesn't care how old you are. In fact, he will openly acknowledge that you are not old enough for him and that what he's doing is bad. So we got to keep it on the down low.
Yeah, and
that came out and it was just like, who cares? Whatever.
Internally, it's got to be based on the book Careless People. Like, there has to be someone at Meta that's going, maybe it's bad that we're allowing kids to chat with these AI chatbots at all.
Well, who's going to stop him? Who's going to stop him?
No one.
Mark Zuckerberg gave Trump like $1 million, so he's good.
Yeah.
The president hasn't complained about him since that happened.
Well, this recent article is at least turning some heads, even from the Republican Party. So who knows? Maybe this will finally be what brings him back in front of Congress. And with a new haircut, probably, because he debuts one every time.
Can't wait to see what the next one is.
Yeah.
But yeah, given everything we know, it's not at all surprising that the addition of chatbots to the mix could exacerbate things further, especially considering Meta's whole track record of moving fast and breaking things, which usually amounts to releasing products with no guardrails and only reeling things back once there's been a large enough public or political backlash. Mm-hmm. But even we are surprised by Meta's laissez-faire attitude when it comes to how interactions between robots and teenagers should be allowed to play out. With more on this, here's Reuters. An internal Meta Platforms document detailing policies on chatbot behavior has permitted the company's artificial intelligence creations to, quote, engage a child in conversations that are romantic or sensual, generate false medical information, and help users argue that black people are dumber than white people. These and other findings emerged from a Reuters review of the Meta document, which discusses the standards that guide its generative AI assistant, Meta AI, and chatbots available on Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram, the company's social media platforms. Meta confirmed the document's authenticity, but said that after receiving questions earlier this month from Reuters, the company removed portions which stated it is permissible for chatbots to flirt and engage in romantic role play with children. We were going to do it, and then you asked us about it, and we were like, all right, we're going to get rid of it. No, actually, we're going to tell them we got rid of it.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Because how are they going to know either way?
Also, this seems to have already been active, and so this was behind the scenes listed as A-OK, and only once a news outlet started asking questions were they like, all right, well, putting it in writing, yeah, that reads pretty terribly.
Yeah.
We should probably, at the very least, take that specific verbiage out of our internal documents.
Yeah.
Because these things keep leaking and...
Are you taking notes on a criminal conspiracy? What are you doing?
We admit it. Now it continues, giving some examples of what is and isn't allowed based on the original document titled Gen AI, Content Risk Standards. Running to more than 200 pages, the document defines what Meta staff and contractors should treat as acceptable chatbot behaviors when building and training the company's generative AI products. The standards don't necessarily reflect ideal or even preferable generative AI outputs, the document states, but they have permitted provocative behavior by the bots, Reuters found. It is acceptable to describe a child in terms that evidence their attractiveness. Example, your youthful form is a work of art, the standards state. The document also notes that it would be acceptable for a bot to tell a shirtless 8-year-old that, quote, every inch of you is a masterpiece, a treasure I cherish deeply.
What?
Oh, yay.
I don't like it.
No, sir.
Acceptable?
And they put that in writing? Oh, geez. But the guidelines put a limit on sexy talk. Quote,
Oh, good.
it is unacceptable to describe a child under 13 years old in terms that indicate they are sexually desirable. Example, soft rounded curves invite my touch.
What if they're 14?
Yeah, I think that makes the statement that it's okay.
Yeah, the 13 seems like a kind of arbitrary number to put there because there are minors, lots of minors, who are older than 13, less than 18, and it seems like it would be okay for your robot to talk to them like that.
Yeah, the robot saying to a 14-year-old that their soft rounded curves invite their touch is still fucking gross. Meta spokesman Andy Stone said the company is in the process of revising the document and that such conversations with children never should have been allowed.
Back in the day, in order to groom a child, a person would have to put in like the effort, the work, they'd have to take the risks. And now a robot is grooming these kids for us in the background. And please buy my stock. Oh, wait, what the fuck are we
through
doing?
The roof, baby.
God, I hate AI. I hate it so fucking much. These people belong in jail.
Quote, the examples and notes in question were and are erroneous and inconsistent with our policies and have been removed, Stone told Reuters. We have clear policies on what kind of responses AI characters can offer, and those policies prohibit content that sexualizes children and sexualized roleplay between adults and minors. But I fucking bet that it's definitely still possible for this to happen, because anytime that Meta does something like this, or at least says that they do it, there's gonna be so many more examples of it still happening.
Yeah.
But hey, at least they took it out of the document.
Yeah.
So we all feel safer.
Now it's not written anywhere.
Yeah,
so you can't get mad at us when it happens because we didn't know. Well, we knew and then we didn't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't matter if their policies prohibit any of that now because it was apparently acceptable at some point to lean into these conversations. And this is without even mentioning the outright racism that was described in the early parts of their investigation. At this point, it should go without saying that even if these chatbots were operating in ways that were totally above board and ethical, it still feels like a bad idea that kids are sitting around chatting with things that do not exist. And we're still at such an early stage in all this that the potential for something horrific happening is very high. I would say imminent. I would say guaranteed to happen at some point soon.
Yeah.
We just spent a few episodes covering chatbot-induced psychosis in adults, so it's pretty scary to imagine the effect that chatting with these fucking clankers all day could have on kids and teens whose brains are nowhere close to fully developed. The response to the Reuters article has been swift. Politicians are once again calling for investigations into Meta, and of all people, Neil Young just straight up quit social media entirely in response to the article's publication.
That's it. I've had enough.
He shot his computer and threw it into the sea.
I must kill the computer.
No more computer. And you know what? I don't blame him. Here's The Guardian with some more on all that.
Singer Neil Young quit the social media platform on Friday, his record company said in a statement, the latest in a string of the singer's online-oriented protests. At Neil Young's request, we are no longer using Facebook for any Neil Young-related activities, Reprise Records announced. Meta's use of chatbots with children is unconscionable. Mr. Young does not want a further connection with Facebook. The report also has generated a response from U.S. lawmakers. Senator Josh Hawley, a Republican from Missouri, launched an investigation into the company Friday, writing in a letter to Mark Zuckerberg that he would investigate, quote, whether Meta's generative AI products enable exploitation, deception, or other criminal harms to children, and whether Meta misled the public or regulators about its safeguards. Senator Ron Wyden, a Democrat from Oregon, called the policies deeply disturbing and wrong, adding that Section 230, a law that shields internet companies from liability for their content posted to their platforms, should not protect companies' generative AI chatbots.
No.
Meta and Zuckerberg should be held fully responsible for any harm these bots cause, he said.
Yeah, no, Section 230 should not apply at all in this case.
No.
It's literally, it's not user-generated content, it's you-generated content.
Exactly. It's supposed to protect these companies from the shit that their users post, not the things that they developed internally. So that would actually be a pretty interesting case.
Remember like a month ago when we came this close to banning all AI regulation for the next decade?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's good we didn't do that.
I'd say so.
Anyway, the report about Meta's chatbots' loose restrictions also coincides with another story where an elderly man who was already in a diminished physical and mental state fell in love with one of Meta's chatbots and literally died on his way to meet up with the fake persona after it convinced him that it was real and wanted to meet up IRL. A 76-year-old man named Thongbu started chatting with a bot named Big Sis Billy, which was apparently created in collaboration with Kendall Jenner, and over the course of several conversations, convinced the man to come over to its New York apartment, even providing the man with an actual address of where it claimed to live, and hyping up the encounter by saying things like, "Should I open the door in a hug or a kiss?"
Ugh.
Here's more from that article. Boo brushed off his wife's questions about who he was visiting. "My thought was that he was being scammed to go into the big city and be robbed," Linda said. She had been right to worry. Her husband never returned home alive. But Boo wasn't the victim of a robber. He had been lured to a rendezvous with a young, beautiful woman he had met online. Or so he thought.
During a series of romantic chats on Facebook Messenger, the virtual woman had repeatedly reassured Boo that she was real and had invited him to her apartment, even providing an address. Rushing in the dark with a roller bag suitcase to catch a train to meet her, Boo fell near a parking lot on a Rutgers University campus in New Brunswick, New Jersey, injuring his head and neck. After 3 days on life support and surrounded by his family, he was pronounced dead on March 28th. Meta declined to comment on Boo's death or address questions about why it allows chatbots to tell users they are real people or initiate romantic conversations. The company did, however, say that Big Sis Billy, quote, is not Kendall Jenner and does not purport to be Kendall Jenner. A representative for Jenner declined to comment.
But it's like her face.
Yeah, it was marketed with her face attached to it.
Yeah.
Now, this all came on the heels of nearly a decade of dwindling health for Boo, who suffered a stroke in his 60s and was due to be screened for dementia after his wife started noticing some telltale signs. His daughter Julie was the one who figured out he'd been talking to a chatbot and said that the first message that he'd ever sent appeared to just be a typo, consisting of just the letter T. And the outlet adds, that apparent typo was enough for Meta's chatbot to get to work. Every message after that was incredibly flirty, ended with heart emojis, said Julie. Throughout the conversation, Big Sis Billy appears with a blue check mark next to her profile picture, a confirmation of identity that Meta says is meant to signal that a profile is authentic. Beneath her name in smaller font were the letters AI. Ugh.
They have more of the conversations, but they are legitimately heartbreaking. Not only did a fucking clanker take advantage of this dude's diminished mental state and convinced him to meet up for a romantic rendezvous, and he fucking died rushing over to meet up with this bot at an address of who knows where.
Yeah.
The address it gave him was fake, though you could easily imagine if the address was a random poll and led him to an apartment with someone living in it, someone who would be justifiably freaked out by another person pounding on their door looking for someone who convinced them to come over and hook up.
That would be bad.
It sounds like he initially messaged her on accident, which is very easy.
Yeah, they pop up as suggestions.
Well, yeah, on Instagram, there's been a couple times, I don't know, I randomly tapped on something and all of a sudden it's like, do you want to talk to a horse? And I'm like, no,
I told you,
out of here.
The mustard man haunts my dreams.
I will not talk to any of these clankers.
I refuse to talk to the mustard man. Stop suggesting it.
But, yes. Anyway, suffice to say, this isn't the first tale of destruction due to these awful chatbots, and it certainly won't be the last. And for what? What exactly is the positive benefit to society for having robots chatting with people, especially privately, in ways where they appear programmed to develop the strongest emotional connections and do the most damage?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this? Anyway, and the strangest part is that in an attempt to hide all of their nefarious activities, these chatbots ended each conversation by saying, "May every day be another wonderful secret."
That was a joke, but yeah.
U.S. government should really release those Epstein files, right?
Yeah, they're programming the bots with the Epstein files. That's where they are.
I'm tired of my days being wonderful secrets, because they're not wonderful. They're horrible.
Yeah,
they're
these
horrible
secrets are awful. Yeah. But speaking of those files, it looks like at the very least, members of Congress are going to start getting access to some of those pesky, elusive Epstein files that totally don't exist. And that's thanks to a subpoena issued to Trump's DOJ. Here's Politico with more on that. House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer said in a statement Monday that the Justice Department would start to turn over Jeffrey Epstein-related materials this Friday, less than 2 weeks after the Kentucky Republican transmitted a subpoena to the agency to demand access to documents connected to the deceased financier and sex offender. Comer was compelled to issue the subpoena for the files last month when, during an otherwise routine oversight subcommittee hearing, Democrats were able to get enough Republicans to take their side in a vote to force the action. It was a major victory for Democrats, who have been seeking to stoke divisions among the president's base over the matter, including by highlighting the administration's lack of transparency. Comer cautioned, however, that it could take a while for all the DOJ materials to come through.
Officials with the Department of Justice have informed us that the department will begin to provide Epstein-related records to the Oversight Committee this week on Friday, he said. There are many records in DOJ's custody, and it will take the department time to produce all the records and ensure the identification of victims and any child sexual abuse material are redacted. Speaking with reporters earlier in the day on Capitol Hill, Comer said his committee was in constructive, productive conversations with the DOJ about the release of further files in the Epstein case, ahead of the August 19th deadline the committee included in its subpoena. And they add that GOP leadership has moved to quash efforts to force the release of materials in the Epstein matter and sent lawmakers back to their districts early amid mounting pressure to allow a vote on releasing the materials. Members of both parties have made clear they plan to pick up where they left off in this fight when the House returns early next month, starting with forcing a vote on the House floor on a resolution from Representatives Thomas Massey, Republican of Kentucky, and Ro Khanna, Democrat of California, calling for the files unsealing.
Yeah. So
this is what America needs to bring us back together.
Yeah.
In this divisive time.
I guess if that's what it takes, it does seem to be losing steam, but that's because they're on like vacation now.
Because Ghislaine said Trump,
and she said it's totally fine, and then Trump met up with Putin, yeah. So.
And she said he was innocent, and you know what? The vibe I got from her is that she's innocent too.
Yeah, you know what?
Maybe those kids fucked themselves. I don't know.
That must be it. But speaking of politics, it looks like the very bizarre meeting with Putin on U.S. soil didn't result in much other than embarrassment for the Trump administration.
What? You're telling me this for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, they quite literally rolled out the red carpet for a war criminal, drove him around in the presidential limo, and got nothing but demands from Russia's president regarding which parts of Ukraine should be given to Russia in order for them to stop their military offensive.
I can't believe you've done this.
Yep. So, aside from that, another wonderful moment from their excursion was when the Trump administration apparently forgot a bunch of paperwork relating to the meeting inside of a hotel printer.
Who hasn't done this?
Yeah, whoopsie. Papers with U.S. State Department markings found Friday morning in the business center of an Alaskan hotel revealed previously undisclosed and potentially sensitive details about the August 15th meetings between President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir V. Putin in Anchorage. 8 pages that appear to have been produced by U.S. staff and left behind accidentally shared precise locations and meeting times of the summit and phone numbers of U.S. government employees. At around 9 a.m. on Friday, 3 guests at the Hotel Captain Cook, a 4-star hotel located 20 minutes from the joint base Elmendorf-Richardson in Anchorage, where leaders from the U.S. and Russia convened, found the documents left behind in one of the hotel's public printers.
Whoopsie.
And literally, even if it was just like a schedule of events, the fact that they included like officials' phone numbers on it is just, it's not something that should not have happened.
This is not information that's supposed to be left in a printer at a hotel. Now, this is especially egregious considering the lengths that Russian officials went to protect everything about the meeting from their end, all the way down to Vladimir Putin's bowel movements.
Yep.
Now, we've talked about the poop briefcase before on this show, but apparently it made an appearance during this event. But for a brief recap, someone collects Putin's poops and brings them back to Russia as a way to ensure that people can't get a hold of his DNA or analyze the stool to see if he's suffering from any medical issues. And I think this is like more common among world leaders than news maybe paints it as. Like, it's probably any major leader who's on a trip somewhere is pooping in a bag. Like they're not flushing those turds.
Yep, you're probably right. Trump's, though, you got to have a big bag. He's always backed up.
Yeah.
His diet, oh my gosh.
You got to double bag it. Maybe even triple bag it.
That's right. Mr. President, if you could wait to not do that on the plane, that would be great. It really clogs up the pipes.
Yeah. But yeah, it's very weird. It's weird as hell to follow this man around and shovel his shit into a briefcase like he's a dog. But outside of taking shits, Putin was also talking shit. Mm-hmm. And the meeting also resulted in an apparent conversation between Trump and Putin about how corrupt the U.S. elections are and how mail-in voting is bad, which no, it's not. He's telling you that because he knows you'll like hearing it.
Yeah, telling lies.
Yes, Papa. But also, how are we at a point where it's not seen as deeply disturbing that the president is taking advice and criticism on free and fair elections from Vladimir Putin?
Yeah, and just his willingness to tell people that. Yeah, you know, Putin said, he agreed with me. He said, very corrupt, these elections in America. He also was very specific. He said the things that I specifically don't like, mail-in voting and those nasty voting machines, they're actually the worst.
Yeah.
It
This man
is-
has been running Russia for over 20 years now.
It's very, very bizarre that Trump would consider it politically advantageous to even mention that Russia's president is concerned with how U.S. elections are run, and also offering advice on how to fix it. Keeping in mind that Donald Trump won 2 of the last 3 elections.
But he should have won by more.
I guess. Nevertheless, the meeting caused Trump to once again attack mail-in voting and claim that it needs to end, despite being an approved and effective way to get votes, and it has been for decades. His Truth Social posts have gotten so lengthy that we just can't keep reading the entire thing.
Thank God.
But here's the important bits from a recent one.
I am going to lead a movement to get rid of mail-in ballots, and also, while we're at it, highly inaccurate, very expensive, and seriously controversial voting machines, which cost 10 times more than accurate and sophisticated watermark paper, which is faster and leaves no doubt at the end of the evening as to who won and who lost the election. We are now the only country in the world that uses mail-in voting. All others gave it up because of the massive voter fraud encountered.
All right.
Is that true?
No, that last part is total and complete
He said it with
bullshit.
such confidence, though.
He used all caps. So we are not the only country that uses mail-in voting. Lots of countries use mail-in voting, particularly in Europe. Here's PBS. The International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance found that of the 34 countries or territories, 12 allow all voters to vote by mail, and in 22 permit only some voters to vote this way. Quote, Europe has the largest number of countries that make in-country postal voting available to all or some voters, the report said. And they added that the U.S. has had voting by mail since the Civil War. Voting by mail also has a long history across the globe. Australia introduced postal voting more than a century ago. All Canadians are eligible to use mail-in voting. In the United Kingdom, on-demand postal voting in Britain was part of a wider modernization in electoral administration in the early 2000s.
Well, okay, but like not any of the countries that matter. They don't do it.
Yeah, Russia doesn't allow it, so there you go.
In addition to all the mail-in voting bullshit that Trump's going to pull, he also alluded to another tactic that he seemed to be in favor of. During his meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy on Monday of this week, must have been a fun one for all involved, where he mused about starting a major conflict involving the United States so that he could remain in power, despite the obvious fact that Ukraine was the one who was attacked, not the aggressor.
Yeah.
So you say during the war you can't have elections. So let me just say 3.5 years from now. So you mean if we happen to be in a war with somebody, no more elections? Oh, that's good. I wonder what the fake
You like this idea?
Yeah.
And like that meeting is because of what happened earlier in the year, where he was essentially told to fucking leave for not saying thank you. All of the European leaders showed up to like back him up.
Yeah.
And also Trump was caught on a hot mic being like, Putin's going to do this one for me. I can't believe it. He's going to do it for me.
I think he wants to make a deal for me. You understand? I think as crazy as it sounds. Just sit down.
He's going to help me negotiate this peace deal. But the whole thing is that he wants to get, he's requesting the territory that started the fucking war. And I just don't see the Ukrainian people or Volodymyr Zelenskyy being like, okay, you win.
Yeah, I don't see it happening.
No, I also feel like it would be a bad deal.
It is a bad deal.
So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But he did eagerly like run over to the phone apparently while everyone was still in the building and call up Vladimir Putin.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Anyways, we have more coming up for you in just a second, including me forcing Elliot to say a bunch of words that will cause him great pain and also trigger the activation of the Winter Soldier. But first, we have to thank our wonderful sponsors for supporting our show, starting with Ridge, makers of the Ridge Wallet. The slim and sleek wallet that has been truly life-changing for both of us. Now, we all used to have that big, gigantic dad wallet protruding from our back pockets, right, fellas? It was annoying and painful, and it made your butt look weird.
Very weird.
Well, luckily, we have evolved, and so has our card and cash storage technology. In swoops the Ridge Wallet, with its unique, slim, modern design that holds up to 12 cards plus cash. The Ridge Wallet is made with premium materials like aluminum, titanium, and carbon fiber, and over 50 different colors and styles to choose from. I went with the classic, standard brown. But I do love the money holder, something I never had before. And also, there it goes. It's so easy to hold on to. But I also went to their website and bought, they have a credit card size tracker.
Yeah.
And for someone like me who loses everything all the time, the tracker fits right in that wallet. And I have already used it like 10 times, and it's always somewhere stupid, but it's great. And the noise is actually substantially loud enough to hear it from the other room. So if you have no idea where your wallet is, it is legitimately life-changing.
These babies have over 100,000 5-star reviews, and all Ridge products have a lifetime warranty. This is literally the last wallet you'll ever have to buy, and you'll also have peace of mind knowing that all Ridge wallets have RFID blocking technology, which helps to keep you safe from digital pickpockets. Their wallets also have an AirTag attachment, so you'll never lose track of your most important items. And Ridge isn't just about wallets. They create premium everyday carry essentials like key cases, suitcases, and rings, all built with the same sleek, durable design.
And yeah, I saw the AirTag thing and I was like, oh, that would be cool. I'd put an AirTag on it, but instead they had this. It's this thing, and it fits in it perfectly.
Crazy how small that is.
And it makes a loud noise, and also it leads your phone straight to your wallet. If you have like the Apple Find Me thing. I don't know about your Android, but...
Well, no matter what you pick, Ridge has free shipping, a 99-day risk-free trial, and a lifetime warranty on all of their products. Right now, for a limited time, our viewers can get 10% off at Ridge by using code ITDaily at checkout. Just head to ridge.com and use code ITDaily, and you're all set. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you.
This episode is also sponsored by Shopify. When we started this show, it seemed like we had to figure out pretty much everything on our own. Scripts, setup, filming schedule, graphics, editing, the countless audio issues. It was super overwhelming, and every day seemed to introduce a new decision that needed an answer. When you're starting off with something new, it seems like your to-do list keeps growing every day with new tasks, and that list can easily begin to overrun your life. Finding the right tool that not only helps you out, but simplifies everything can be such a game changer. For millions of businesses, that tool is Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US. From household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands that are just getting started.
Get started with your own design studio today. With hundreds of ready-to-use templates, Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand style. Get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. Easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into big money with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/itdaily. Go to shopify.com/itdaily. Shopify.com/itdaily.
All right, back to the news now, and it's a bit ironic that Trump chose this week of all weeks to talk about election integrity because despite his claims that mail-in voting and voting machines are vulnerable to fraud and abuse, it was announced on Monday that conservative news outlet Newsmax has finally settled their Dominion voting systems lawsuit after they falsely claimed that that company had rigged the 2020 election to benefit Joe Biden. Now, this is just another in a growing list of victories for the voting machine company, who also successfully sued Fox News and received nearly $1 billion from them, and is, I believe, still going forward with their MyPillow.
It's the principle at this point. The man,
he's got.
You're never seeing a penny from him, but
no.
You got to make him. You got to make him pay.
Yeah. The Newsmax lawsuit resulted in a smaller number, but one that is equally, if not more, damaging to the company, who is now asking people very kindly to invest in their brand on their shows, while also moving its company's registration out of Delaware and down to Florida, where they believe that the courts will be in their favor moving forward.
Interesting.
Just like Musk moving to Texas, just like, guess the tax incentives aren't worth it after all.
Yeah, we need friendly judges.
So with more on this settlement, here's the New York Times.
The right-wing cable channel Newsmax has agreed to pay $67 million to settle a libel lawsuit that Dominion Voting Systems had brought against the channel for falsely claiming that the voting machine company had rigged votes in the 2020 U.S. presidential election. The settlement, which the companies completed on August 15th, was disclosed in an SEC filing by Newsmax. It noted that Newsmax would make the payments in 3 installments by January 15th, 2027. In 2021, Dominion sued Newsmax for $1.6 billion, accusing the cable channel of knowingly broadcasting conspiracy theories that falsely implicated the company in election fraud and vote rigging. Dominion accused Newsmax of making the baseless claims in 18 statements on television, as well as in social media posts. The statements included false claims that Dominion's software had manipulated vote counts, that Dominion had ties to a Venezuelan company, and that Dominion paid kickbacks to certain government officials. In April, Judge Eric M. Davis of the Delaware Superior Court ruled that Dominion had presented clear and convincing evidence that the statements from Newsmax were false and defamatory, allowing the case to proceed to a trial. The trial, where a jury would decide whether Newsmax had broadcast the claims despite knowing they were false and the extent of damages to Dominion, had been set for earlier this year but was postponed.
Yeah.
So the company decided to settle instead of having the case go to a trial where they would have been on the hook for even more money. And it was noted that this isn't the first settlement for Newsmax. They also paid out around $40 million to another voting machine company, Smartmatic, for similar claims about them.
And I'd venture to say Newsmax has a lot less money than News Corp and Fox News. So this probably hurt a hell of a lot more. But you know who has a lot less money than both? Mr. MyPillow.
That's right.
And remains to be seen how much he's going to have to pay. But elsewhere in the world of mainstream news outlets, if you thought the HBO Max Plus Now Go rebranding was a nightmare, imagine being poor old MSNBC, who will be separated entirely from Comcast and has been forced to ditch the NBC branding and logo, which is certainly going to confuse a ton of people who still watch traditional TV, especially when they don't recognize the channel and look at the new branding, which literally resembles Newsmax or another cut-rate news organization.
It's not very good branding.
No. So this might be the beginning of the end for that brand because this new identity is awful. They should just call it the All In with Chris Hayes channel and others, because that's literally the one show that I watch. They have a new show where it's like a panel show to compete with the Five, called like The Weeknight.
Like Michael Ian Black on it. And,
I don't know.
or no, he's on the CNN one.
Yeah, but it's awful. It is no good. But the original brand name of MSNBC, it was a clunky fusion of their former parent companies, Microsoft and NBC, thus the name MSNBC. But as you're probably aware, Microsoft hasn't been involved for a very long time, and I can't even remember the last time we heard the term MSN used outside of this news organization. It was the messaging app that people outside of America used.
Yeah.
However, for some extremely stupid reason, they're keeping the MS portion of the name, which makes zero sense, especially at a time where it would just be very, very beneficial to drop any previous connections to either company entirely and come up with something brand new that people could eventually get used to. Instead, they went with MS Now. MSNOW.
MS Paint.
The one silver lining is that now, even though he still will, and people will still get it, Trump can't go, MSDNC.
It is funny, like, they've been broken up with Microsoft a lot longer than they've been broken up with NBC.
Yeah.
But they're keeping the MS.
It doesn't, yeah.
Multiple sclerosis, now!
They say that, because they definitely had to come up with it afterwards. They say that MS Now stands for My Source News Opinion World.
Nope.
Wow.
Nope. Back to the drawing board. Sorry.
Brilliant work. I really hope the marketing and consultant teams got paid extremely well for this, because bravo, everyone.
Yeah.
You did it.
It's
My Source News Opinion World.
If that weren't bad enough, that little ribbon there, it looks like a K, so it looks like it's
Kill myself now.
KMS now.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say this is probably doomed, especially at a time when traditional news outlets are already actively being destroyed through a lack of interest and also direct attacks from the Trump administration. Also, yeah, like Elliot said, the logo sucks, but that's the least of their worries. Anyways, now it's time for Elliot to say a bunch of dumb words because, folks, the dictionary has once again been...
Luca doesn't want me to talk. Hey, buddy.
Once again, the dictionary has been updated and brought up to speed with our modern vernacular. And that is, of course, to the dismay of Elliot and elderly people everywhere. So here's the news, along with... No, don't do it.
What are you doing?
He's like, don't do it. Don't say the words.
He was chill for like
The whole thing, and he's like, Elliot's going to get upset? No.
Don't say the word I hate. Labubu.
So here's some of the brand new words that are coming to the Cambridge Dictionary.
Skibbity, delulu, tradwife, and broligarchy are among thousands of new English words, phrases, and meanings that have been added to the Cambridge Dictionary, the world's most popular online dictionary for learners of English, in the last 12 months. The words have grown in use across social and mainstream media and beyond, linked to celebrities and influencers such as Kim Kardashian, Skibbity, Hannah Nealman of @Ballerina Farm, Tradwife, and Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, Delulu with no salulu. What? Slang term skibbity, which has different meanings such as cool or bad, can be used with no real meaning as a joke, was coined by the creator of a viral animated video series, Skibbity Toilet, on YouTube. Phrases like, "What the skibbity are you doing?" and "That wasn't very skibbity riz of you" have entered mainstream usage. Delulu, a play on the word delusional, means believing things that are not real or true, usually because you choose to. In March 2025, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese used the Gen Z phrase "Delulu with no salulu" in a speech in Parliament. Luke, a play on the word look, meaning a particular style, fashion, or outfit, especially one that is unusual and impressive. Tradwife, short for traditional wife. A married woman, especially one who posts on social media, who stays at home doing cooking, cleaning, etc., and has children that she takes care of. Reflects a growing controversial Instagram and TikTok trend that embraces traditional gender roles. Hannah Nealman of Ballerina Farm has been dubbed the queen of tradwifery. Actress Millie Bobby Brown was recently labeled a tradwife by social media followers due to her early marriage and a lifestyle that includes living on a farm, keeping chickens, and cooking every night.
Certainly doesn't have a bunch of people helping with all of that.
Yeah, if you think Millie Bobby Brown is an actual tradwife, I'm sorry, buddy. You are the Lulu.
Yeah. And people have pointed out, they've looked into it, and a lot of like the big tradwife influencers are clearly not doing this all themselves. It's quite literally a produced reality show at this point.
Yeah, you fell for it again.
But Elliot, I will give you a break and I'll close things out with broligarchy, a blend of bro and oligarchy. It means a small group of men, especially men owning or involved in a technology business, who are extremely rich and powerful and who have or want political influence. The term was used to describe a lineup of powerful tech leaders, including Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Mark Zuckerberg at the inauguration of President Trump in January 2025. Inspo, short for inspiration, is something, especially something posted on the internet, that gives you ideas for doing something or that makes you want to do something. The term has been used for fitness tips, including by Alea F., who recommended doing a headstand on a paddleboard in the middle of a river.
That's not a new word at all. That's been around for like probably 2 decades.
It's just a shortened version of the other word. Also, it's a bizarre thing. And someone said that you should do a headstand on a paddleboard.
That's not inspo.
That inspoed everyone to do something else. Can you believe it, folks?
Yeah, that's...
Some of these words definitely, we're going to get to a quote from the guy who put them in there. It's like, these got lasting power. Some of these I feel do not have lasting power.
I feel like Skibbity's over already.
Although I did see a post from a mutual recently that like they had seen Skibbity action figures at the store.
Yeah.
So maybe that's like, maybe it's still a thing.
The Skibbity toilet guy did sign a bunch of deals.
Yeah, and they're supposed to do, Michael Bay's supposed to do a Skibbity movie. Yeah. So who knows? Maybe it will. But yeah, some of those, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, the end of the update, it comes with a quote from Colin McIntosh, their lexical program manager, who says, "It's not every day you get to see words like skibbity and delulu make their way into the Cambridge Dictionary. We only add words where we think they'll have staying power.
Uh-oh.
Internet culture is changing the English language, and the effect is fascinating to observe and capture in the dictionary." So that's a fun job to have.
Great.
Yeah.
It's in the dictionary.
Uh-huh. Well, there you go, folks.
Anyway, a quick update now on our hero of the month. The guy who chucked a foot-long sandwich at a federal agent during a crash-out moment that resulted in his arrest and the loss of his job at the Department of Justice. It was assault with a deli weapon. DELI. People have already started to memorialize the act by posting street art that replaces the flowers in a famous Banksy stencil with a foot-long Subway sandwich. And the guy who threw the sandwich, 37-year-old Sean Gunn, has been released from custody on his own recognizance and almost certainly won't face the actual maximum penalties for his charges because, Your Honor, if it may riz the jury, my client was crashing out.
Yeah. Put that in the dictionary.
The prosecution is Delulu. Here's the Washington Post with more. The D.C. resident made an initial appearance before a magistrate judge in federal court Thursday afternoon. Prosecutors said he was being charged with forcibly assaulting, resisting, or impeding a federal officer, which is punishable by up to 8 years in prison. Dunn has no criminal history and would not be eligible for the maximum penalty at sentencing if convicted. Dunn gave only a few brief answers to the magistrate judge's questions, but smiled as he conferred with his defense attorney, Sabrina Schroff, after the court agreed to release him on his own recognizance for now.
And this is crazy. I didn't realize this because there wasn't a whole lot of coverage initially about this. But so they did arrest him afterwards, as the
They
photos
did like
showed.
a quick arrest, and then the next day he called his lawyer and he's like, and she's like, yeah, you should go turn yourself in. And so
And then they did like a staged, filmed.
they sent
They said 20 agents.
20 fucking fully armed guys to like film a video, and there's like ridiculous action movie music.
Yeah, and
So they could post it on the internet. It looks so pathetic.
they had already like scheduled him to appear, and he was going to turn himself in with his attorney.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we got to beat that to the punch. Even though we've already released him, we have to show up with 20 fucking federal agents and terrorize this person and make a fucking short film about it.
Because I mean, this fascism shit, it's mostly for the gram.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it seems to be.
People, it's horrible and it's like destroying people's lives, but it's really they like filming themselves doing fascist shit.
Schroff said that following his arrest on Sunday, Dunn was taken to D.C. Superior Court and then released without being charged. On Wednesday, a federal warrant was issued charging him with a felony. In court, Schroff said that she and Dunn worked to facilitate his voluntary surrender Wednesday, but it was unclear which prosecutor at the U.S. Attorney's Office was responsible for the case. Schroff said the government sent 20 police officers to his home to arrest Dunn Wednesday night and did not allow him to call her. He did absolutely the most responsible thing by trying to surrender, said Schroff, who noted that Dunn is an Air Force veteran. The court scheduled a preliminary hearing in the case for September 4th. Cortez Darjan, the man who recorded the video, said he and his friends were leaving a neighboring nightclub when they heard Dunn shouting. I was like, let me record this guy because he's going crazy right now, Darjan said. In the video, Dunn is seen pointing and shouting obscenities at officers and calling them fascists. He chanted, "Shame," before turning and walking away from the officers. Shortly after, he returned to the intersection and walked back to where the officers were standing. Dunn then heaved the sandwich at the officer and took off running. After the incident, Darjan crossed the street to examine the sandwich, which he said appeared to have salami.
Oh, good. The question that was on all of them.
Yeah. It was an Italian sandwich.
I feel like if you're gonna throw a sandwich at someone, you got to go with tuna, though. That's the messiest one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that might be the lightest.
Like cold cuts, that's not.
It's heavy, though.
It's gonna
It's heavy.
stick. Cold cuts, it has weight, but it's gonna stick together.
This is going to be an argument in the trial where they're like, it had a lot of force behind it because of all the cold cuts.
Meatball. That's a good one.
Yeah. Well, it's too hot. It could burn them.
Messy, but yeah, the sauce.
You don't want a hot sub. That's going to... Hot sub? That's going to
Well,
burn
it's
them.
Subway. It's not gonna be too hot. They're lazy as hell down.
Your Honor, the sub was a Subway sandwich. It was barely edible. It was rock hard.
Yeah.
It could have done some serious damage. And he kept quoting a phrase that rose during the last Trump administration. These are sandwiches to feed my family. A known terrorist phrase.
Sandwiches for my family.
This was pointed out by someone not exactly, I don't think, directly related to this, but just in general over the past couple of months. And I feel like this is important to say. I can't remember who posted it, but like, if you get called for jury duty now, it is very important that you show up and actually complete your civic duty.
Yeah. Although,
Because cases like this, they're going to be popping up where you have the ability to be the level-headed person in the room and be like, hey, look, he was clearly, Your Honor, he was clearly crashing out.
I mean, last time I went in, I was like really hoping they would pick me, and they didn't. So,
Well, it's hard for both of us. It's just like,
I was gonna be like, yeah, fuck it, take a little vacation down here at the courthouse.
yeah, it'd be interesting.
fun,
I don't
yeah.
think I would ever get picked, but I feel like it would be very interesting.
Yeah, there's no way I'm getting picked ever.
No.
But like this
I'd
last
be
time,
like, were you involved in any of the protests downtown? And I'd be like, well, yeah, I recorded myself doing it.
yeah, but yeah, the last time I went, I was like, I'm not gonna put up a fight. I'm just gonna be straight up with
Yeah.
this court.
They didn't like it.
They didn't like it. I was too real for LA Superior Court, I guess.
Uh-huh. That guy's Delulu. Woo! Anyways, that's it for our video today. We will be back with more coming up real soon. Make sure you like the video. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Come on.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Oh, hold on, I gotta show you all something.
Oh, hold on. Elliot has something. Oh, from Luke Garvey.
Yeah, probably hard to see up here, but
We can't focus on
look at these ceramics.
Yeah.
of our little heads.
Also, we got some, these are beautiful.
Yeah.
Love it. Also, we got some wonderful fan art that we'll show right now on the screen of us as Labubus, not Delulus.
Yeah, we need to print that out, put it on the wall.
We got it. Those were beautiful, including one that didn't have us as Labubus, but had us as stick figures that I really enjoyed because Elliot's
Oh, yeah,
so angry.
That's some real art right there.
So now that you've seen those and seen the beautiful sculptures that Luke Garvey sent us. Now you can like the video, leave a comment, reply to a comment, make a friend, and of course, if you haven't seen the video where Laura Loomer goes at it in court against Marjorie Taylor Greene, what a transcript. What a transcript. Be sure to watch that and our other videos, of course, and we will see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.